So hi everyone, thank you for joining us today for this important discussion. I'm Jessica Stewart, Executive Director of the Family and Community Services Insights Analysis and Research branch, also known as FACSIA, within the Department of Communities and Justice. And I welcome you to this additional interview following our September 2023 Lunch and Learn research seminar on preventing and responding to self-harm and suicidal ideation, the latest research and best practice for children and young people in care. Today, we will be speaking with Marjorie Anderson, who is the National Manager of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Crisis Services at 13 Yarn, and was scheduled to talk at our webinar, but was unfortunately up in the air on a plane at the time. So we're really grateful, Marjorie, and thank you so much that you're able to join us today. Before we begin, I'd like to personally acknowledge the Bidjigal and Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, who are the owners and First Nations people on the area where I have the privilege of joining you today. I'd like to pay my respects to all First Nations elders past and present and to future and emerging leaders, and I'd like to extend that respect to our Aboriginal colleagues joining us today. I'd also like to acknowledge people who have a lived experience of self-harm and suicide, whether that be personally or in the care of someone. And I acknowledge the distress that you have experienced and the ongoing journey that encompasses. So our speaker today, Marjorie Anderson, is an Aboriginal woman born and bred in Redfern. Your mob's from northern New South Wales, and before joining Lifeline, Marjorie had worked in a number of roles at the Aboriginal Housing Office, Sydney Harbour Foreshore Authority, the Department of Juvenile Justice and Tourism New South Wales, the Olympic Coordination Authority and the ABC. What a fantastic career. Marjorie is passionate about building resilient, sustainable communities, and thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thank you for having me, Jess.
Thanks so much. So, Marjorie, could you please tell me about 13 Yarn and the services that you provide?
Right, 13 Yarn is a national 24/7 crisis line designed by the community, managed by Aboriginal people and delivered by Aboriginal people. It's a culturally safe space for people to ring if they're feeling anxious or just no good. And we've been around for about 18 months now. And so when you phone 13 Yarn, there is no judgment, there's no shame, and there's an Aboriginal person on the end of the line who has, who can understand where you're coming from. And it has been well received by the community. And I think that's because we designed it with the community, and it is absolutely national. So you can ring from anywhere in Australia, and it is a free call.
That's fantastic. And what do you think is most important and valuable about having a specific helpline and service for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people?
Well, the feedback that I got when I was designing 13 Yarn was that Lifeline is a great service, and but it's white line. So when you ring up, often you had to educate the person on the other end of the phone about your culture, about your family makeup, your responsibilities, your community responsibilities, your link to mob, your link to land, before you could get the help you needed. With 13 Yarn, because it is an Aboriginal person who answers it, they already know all that. So you can get right to getting the help you need.
That's terrific.
That's the major difference.
Yeah. And could you provide advice on how to help support and prevent Aboriginal children and young people who need that support during crisis?
Yeah. The way that we approach that is we speak their language. So whatever language that they're using, whatever, ideation of English that they're using, we try to mirror the language that they're using. And when I go out into community, I talk to young people about that icky feeling you get in your guts. You might have had a fight with a friend at school, or you might have broken up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and you get that really icky feeling in your guts. That's anxiety. That's when you should ring 13 Yarn, and we might be able to take that icky feeling away. So that's the way we approach it. We do get young people calling through. We have no age barriers whatsoever. So it's really about listening, actively listening and de-escalating, and then referring on if they need further help. But nearly 50% of our callers only want to speak to 13 Yarn, and they say they feel better at the end of the call and thank us very much. And they say they'll call back if they get that feeling again.
That's great. What would be some of the themes that you see coming through from younger callers?
With younger callers, it's usually family and relationships. They've had a fight with their mum or dad, or they've had a fight with a friend at school, or they're, it's really around family and relationships, mostly with young people. We do get other young people with much more difficult, um, problems to get through, but largely it's around relationships and family.
Okay. And how would you, this was a topic that came up at the research seminar about supporting people or encouraging young people who might not want to engage with a service. What would be your advice around that?
Yeah, I think it's the real problem in our community around shame. And it's really important to point out the confidentiality of the service that you're sending them to.
Yeah.
And also say, what have you got to lose? Just give it a go. You're not going to lose anything. It's confidential. Nobody needs to know that you've gone there. Nobody needs to know that you're getting this help, but it's all about you.
Yeah.
And try and just encourage them to go along.
Yeah. Are there other sort of ways that we can support young people, if they are talking about having issues or struggling with relationships or whatever it might be outside of 1-3 Yarn? Like what would you suggest in terms of support?
Well, one of the things we do talk about is what they've done when they've felt like this before.
Mm,
So we really let them get it out and let them feel heard, which is really important because young people are telling us that often they speak and they don't feel heard.
yeah.
But feeling heard is really important. And when we ask them, what have you done when you felt like this before? They say, oh, look, I might go and talk to Auntie Mary. And I go,
Yeah.
and we say, oh, all right. And then they come to the conclusion themselves that maybe if they talk to Auntie Mary, or maybe if they go and sit on the riverbank and just, chill for a bit, or maybe if they go and do some gardening or go out for a run or go to the gym or do, whatever they've told us has helped them before. And we always leave the door open for them too, and saying, if that doesn't work, you can always call us back
Yeah.
and we can try something else. So we really try and empower young people to take on their own journey to healing. It's a bit like you can give a man a fish, he eats for a day, but if you teach him to fish, if they feel like this again, maybe they can deal with it and have their self-care plan in the back of their head to be able to work through it themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. And if there was sort of one or a few key take-home messages you'd like to tell our participants who might be watching this, what would that be?
Look, I would stress, if anybody's feeling no good, ask them, you're right or what? And if they're not feeling good, get them to reach out to, 13 Yarn or Kids Helpline or Beyond Blue or wherever they want to reach out to. It's really important that people feel like they've got a safe space to go, a confidential space to go, somewhere that's culturally safe, somewhere where they're not going to be judged. It doesn't matter what you tell our crisis supporters. We don't need to know who you are. We just need to know what you're feeling and helping you get through those feelings. So it's really important to look after each other, particularly in this time around the referendum.
Yeah.
The cultural load on Aboriginal people is immense. So make sure that we all look after each other and help each other if we can.
Thank you so much, Marjorie. I really appreciate you joining us today, and absolutely a good reminder in the lead up to the referendum that 13 Yarn is available, and people just like you are there ready to talk. So thank you so much for today. I really appreciate it.
That's fine. And the phone number is 13 92 76. So Yarn is actually part of the phone number.
So 13, so 13
92 76.
92 76. Well, thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.